Okay, it's time. Thank you everyone for coming to today's webinar. I'm Wang Rui from BIM&CO Singapore. I'm the business developer manager for Asia. So today we will talk about the BIM library. So this is today's summary. We'll take about 40 minutes for all the subject. Then first one, I have a short presentation about BIM&CO and AGIS. AGIS about cloud. And secondly, we'll talk about the objective of AGIS content management. Then we will look at how AGIS deploy his BIM library. Then finally, we have some experience and feedback to show you. I think that will be helpful for all of us. Then we have a Q&A. Feel free to ask questions during my presentation. Me and my colleague will answer you during my presentation, or at the end, I'll back to questions myself. Okay. So firstly, for a better connection, I will turn off my camera. Okay. BIM&CO is a youngest company of Group Trees. Group Trees is a software development company in Europe, based in France, our headquarters. We have several activities, but we are focusing on data management. So BIM&CO, we are a company of content management. So we are doing BIM content library and software development for companies to maintain and manage their BIM content. Also, we have several other activities like trade software for electrical software development, trade paths for 2D, 3D, content library for industry, and other activity for new energies. I will take this opportunity to present it later about AGIS, because today I'm talking with you the AGIS success story. AGIS is our cloud since 2018. AGIS is a French engineering company. We well know engineering company is a highly competitive sector because for example, in 2012, there are more than 40,000 companies with main activity as engineering. But in 2017, there's more than 77,000 engineering companies. So when we look at the turnover of the market in 2012, the market volume in Europe is 44 billion euros. And in 2017, it's 46 billion euros. But the market has become 2 times more competitive since 2 times more companies. In the engineering firm like AGIS, they spent a lot of money on human resource, given the high level of qualification of the workforce, staff, related expense, represent 88% of the value added from the revenue of AGIS. The objective is how to save cost on human resource. And this linked to the digitalization of process such as BIM, which have a strong impact on time saving. So that's the context of why we are talking about here with AGIS. The question, because according to AIM, a French association, the average time spent for searching and for searching information without finding them, it is 7 hours 20 per week. So we'll see today how to save time and focus on its activity by answering questions, how to save time when creating your BIM projects with Onfly. So Onfly is our BIM library used by Aegis and product of BIM&CO. So once again, feel free to ask questions during my presentation. At the end, I'll back to questions. Okay. About the context of Aegis BIM library project, the content management objective request comes from the big project Metro Grand Paris for the express line 15, 16, and 17. Aegis has delivered a BIM library contain 800 BIM objectives. But the content development has met a lot of difficulties. For example, first for access, the library is delivered by a folder with Revit family with IFA format, but there are many other collaborators of projects and some BIM managers who are not using Revit, so they don't have Revit license, but so they can't access to his library delivery. Then the library cannot support the process of object daily enrichment for designer or engineers. So we have to enrich the data day by day, but with a library in the folder, we cannot support this kind of work. For BIM designers, we can't know which kind of data should be added in the objects because we can't set the data standard into the library. And for the object, we don't have link with the project model. So the BIM managers, for example, they could not control the object quality, but with the online library like Onfly, the project and the object update could be in bid direction. So they need to keep the object up to date with project. It's another objective of their platform. Meanwhile, the BIM connectors don't have control of validation possibility for those objects. It's also because for coordinators, if you want to validate all the objects published by the designer or by the BIM modeler, so you can't do that with a folder. The last difficulty, last point, Aegis client who pay for the library, but these objects are not useful for maintenance because objects are not linked with project model. Actually, the client needs the object with real data, but not only a library. So with Onfly, we can give an API connector to allow user get back their object data for any application. Okay. So the most important objective for setting up a BIM library like Onfly is to have productivity gain, of course. So for BIM coordinators, he should manage the user request, validate the content in a unique sharing space, and share a common content for Aegis users and partners, for example, but on a private cloud space, not only with the internal server folder. That's important point which could cause the gain of productivity. For the modelers, they should ensure the object publication, and the objects are categorized following the company special classification or the international standard like Uniforma, OmniClass, COBie for their data, for example. So they can also edit multiple objects at the same time. So it's easy to use for BIM modeler. And for BIM manager or some project engineer, they should define their object disciplines and then integrate and validate the business data for different disciplines. With an easily access online browser, they don't need any BIM software. So they can only use their account to connect to internet from our internet browser. So they can edit, access, publish, review all the objects. Okay. For BIM designers, another objective for BIM designers, they should quickly access to find objects with the right parameters, of course. It's also objective gain of time. Also, they should always use the latest version of object with a plugin, for example, for Revit or other plugin for other BIM software, BIM design software. So so here we have a timeline of how AGIS set up this kind of library. So since 2017, AGIS has defined their requirement schedule with objective of save time, gain of productivity, of course, quality. At the end of 2017, they started some comparative solutions. Finally, they chose BIM&CO. Before its global deployment, we had feasibility studies with BIM&CO through 3 or 4 workshops during 4 months. At the same time, AGIS was working on the implementation of a common dictionary and a content integration strategy internally. So that's the opportunity. We can work closely together to establish the operating method of AGIS. At 2019, AGIS had a new process and workflow for creating their objects. In the beginning of 2020, Onfly was deploying on 3 projects, the Metro of Grand Paris, the Tramway of Marseille, and the Regional Transport Express for Juan-les-Pins and Gornolet in France. So that's the context about the project, how we work together with AGIS. So here, let's have a look how we can set up such library and how has AGIS done. In terms of using and deploying the platform, the different companies all work differently, of course, and they have many ways to deploy a central library to manage their BIM content, their BIM object. The way we consider classic reprinting by the strategy 1, the classic strategy from diagram on the left, that company starts by setting up the solution by creating its dictionary and classification. Those standards contain as much as possible information which will be in the object. Then they integrate the content in the central library and then drop some objects for project use in the project library. So from the standard creation, integration, then it integrate the new objects for central library, then we can use for project. But for AGIS, they're using the strategy 2. So they are deploying the platform with another strategy because the first day they create their object in the project library to meet the needs of project, which already saved many time when searching for objects for only for one project at the beginning. In this way, the object could be duplicated on the central library once they are in the project library. So their objective is to build the AG's standard library project after project. So with project experience to make sure for building their standard library, which meet their business needs. So they are doing from the different way, from the end, from the end to the top. So from a project by project with project experience, they can filter the correct object to add in the central library. Here, I'd like to take this opportunity to remind you that our webinar of this Onfly presentation or its feature presentation are available on our YouTube channel. So you can visit our BIM&CO English YouTube channel to check all other features of this platform. The platform offers a package of basic features such as advanced search and the user profile management, even for different collaborators, external project partners. But we have also worked together with AGs and other customers for additional features development. For example, here we have a new notification system and document attachment by family type for Revit. And another one very interesting, today we'll show the difference, which is the searching by content property, which already saved a lot of time only from the searching party. So that's really cool. Let's have a look about the difference. For a same designer, a same BIM designer, we have 3 different ways to do search an object with the same project, but different way for searching. So on the left, you can see the object stocking on the server folder, like today most companies are using, for example, on SharePoint. On the middle, the designer is using Onfly with search bar classic, of course with a plugin Revit. On the right, he's using a new feature of property search. I talked it from Onfly, so we can search directly the content of all parameters from all the objects content in the library. So you cannot directly visualize the difference from the server, for example, from the server folder. From a server folder and all the objects are classified by the administrator, we cannot have a 3D view before download. And then we must download the object to check its properties if it's the right one we are looking for. So in the middle solution, we can already have a 3D view and visualize all parameters of the object before download with Onfly plugin for Revit, for example. So already means we can save a lot of time to find the right objects online or use the plugin. So the third solution on the right, not only you can search by classification, for example, here at the beginning you can use the plugin to search by classification. For example, the door. You can even search, but you can even search by material, by width, by other parameters existing in the objects. So with this search, I can get the minimum number of objects that needs his searching. So very quickly and very efficient. So another practice of time saving. You can see the different time spent for searching one object. Only one object. With this, we can go to the next slide, analyze the economy of time saving. Okay. So here, we have done IOI compare you have questions? No. Okay, so here we have done an ROI to compare the cost we spent for searching BIM content with three different ways and three different size companies. For example, here, on the left, the one represent using searching by server folder, then with Onfly Classic search bar, and the right one is Onfly search by property. So we can calculate already the time saving. Then the cost of time. This is the cost of time. And in Europe, for example, because this is a figure from the salary base in France. We can already have a very interesting economic analysis, compare the three different ways of managing BIM objects. Compare the on-fly search bar, for example, and the server folder, we have minimum 70% gain of productivity. And if we compare the search by property with server folder search, we can get minimum 84% gain of productivity. It's a huge figure, interesting. So you can already calculate your own gain of productivity if you want. You can also send me your company size or how many objects you are managing or you are using in your library. So we can easily get a ROI for you to a calculation. So you can use to analyze your productivity. So even for a small team, the gain of time play a very important role. Okay. Here to conclude, we have some figures from Aegis. Since use of Onfly, they have done 12 urban and rural projects in about 2 years. If we look at the figure, they have more and more BIM modelers as object creator, and BIM designers as members, and BIM coordinators. So exceptly Aegis give access to their partners. That means such as partners as architect or others, but only for project space. So their partners can only access to their project library, but in the back, Aegis has their own central library. So they can have a unique space to share and work together with the project partners through one project and one platform. So one space. So they can open the access to project partners to make a gain of quality also for projects. And so that's a little figure about how Aegis is using the platform. So before here, I want just have a poll. I'd like to your feedback about this this webinar because I have done all the slides a little quickly. So I want to hear your feedback to ensure I can give you many suggestions, or we can give you a demonstration if you want, one by one. So and before so please answer the this poll, and at the same time you can ask questions via the chat dialogue. Okay. So I will let you to answers. Please answer the poll so that I can view directly your feedback about my presentation. Okay. Okay. During the poll, so the last slide the last slide to show edges has their objects in the library. Mostly you can see in the left diagram that mostly is generic object. So only 12% for manufacturers. So because edges is working more for the conception stage more than construction stage with Onfly till today. So they have 1,100 objects today in the platform for 12 projects till today. And edges today they have 73 users till today. Because they are using Onfly since 1.5 years. Of course, the number of users continue increase because they are deploying the platform globally for the global projects, not only in Europe, but all their real and infrastructure project. Okay, I think that's till now, that's all about my presentation. I'd like to hear your questions. From questions, I may talk with you more detail about the project, about the platform. Of course, please, if you have questions, please ask. So that's all about my slide presentation. Okay. There's a question about the plugin. If you are using Bentley, ArchiCAD, or other software, because we can give an easily API connector that there's also already customers who have developed their own plugin with our cloud API service. Okay, so we can give an API connector. We can help you develop any plugin you want for your software. And also for the role, the BIM manager or the BIM designer, they can access to the platform, use internal browser. Library start on cloud. Yes, for the question of Raymond, our library is stored in the cloud. You can have access user URL, and but you can have your own private espace for your library. So you can access via plugin or via internal browser. Okay. So in this way, all the project stakeholder can share your library. Okay. About there's someone who asks the price list. Yes, as it's a SaaS software, so we have three kind of package, three kind of offer to you according your company size or according your needs of the features. For example, you want to manage all the data, or you want only manage the object file, or you want manage all the standard. So I can send you, especially personally, a price list. If we can change together for your needs. We have three package normally, and the three offer. One offer is for the small company, the middle company, and the other enterprise version. Okay, it's annually license. Yes, it's paid per number of users, but with unlimited space. Okay. There's another question. Yes, there's a question, Adeb Hakim. We have but today we don't have other plugin for some industry software. I don't know which kind of software you are talking about, but like I said, we can give an API connector, so you can easily, or we can help to develop a plugin for any kind of software. For yes, of course, for piping, for process, for water treatment, of course, for PID projects, mostly because we are not only have client architect, but also some lot of MEP engineering firm, so who is managing their piping, their equipment as in the library. So we can also manage the system family and the other family from Revit. Okay. Yes, if you want to say the application in Revit, I don't have Revit yet open in my I will show you the this short video to give a more information. Okay, wait a moment. I'll find this video. Okay, for example, this video, because this video is done by Aegis in the Revit in French, but you can see for Revit we have a BIM&CO plugin. So in the plugin we can do quickly a search, and then you can classify your with your own classification. Then you can find easily all the class for the door, for example, and then you can check. You can search by property. You can search by material and the value, the parameter of the material, for example. Then you get 3 objects exact for your search. You can also search by software format, by manufacturer, by your LOD. Even you can search by the length or the weight of your parameters. Then you can directly have a 3D view, or here you can select all the parameters you want to download this object. So you won't have those information or data that is unuseful for you for your project. So for example, you can also choose one type for your project to download it. So if other type isn't useful for you, you don't need to download it. So you can insert directly the object in your project with the type and parameters you have selected. Here you are. Okay. Can I have other question? I could have, but right now we use Aviva. Yes. Okay. Other questions? Okay. Please, if you don't have finished the poll, please answer the poll to give me a feedback. If you have any, if you want, feel free to let me know if you want to know more about the platform. We can schedule a meeting one by one to give you a demo. Okay. From Iran, may I know how to install BIM&CO in Revit? Okay, for install BIM&CO plugin, you can, we have 3, sorry, you can simply visit our website. I will give you the website, www.bimandco.com. So, or you can search, you can find the BIM&CO plugin in Revit app store. Okay. Because BIM&CO, we have another public library for free for BIM designers. So you can, even you are not a client of Onfly, but you can always get a BIM&CO plugin for downloading the free BIM objects provided by BIM&CO and our partner, such as some manufacturers. Okay. Yeah, here we are giving, my colleagues are giving the link to download BIM&CO plugin. Okay. That's it. Any more questions, please? If don't, okay, thank you very much. It's about time. Thank you. It's about time. So our webinar will be ending today. Thank you very much for your coming. Have a nice day, all of you. See you next time. Bye-bye.